Okay, so part of the issue we had was your setup there.
Yes.
Arms and the club almost in a straight line. So that left wrist being a little bit more bowed slightly, should we say, that left wrist sort of, it's very hard then to hinge the wrist.
Yeah.
So because of that now, the club was always going to be going a long way on the inside.
Yeah.
Stuck behind you, you've got nowhere to go. The club has to start going up somewhere, you just lift your arms up, and then of course we're getting that sort of over the top move, that over the top movement now, and then coming down steep on the ball. Your brain then goes, don't want to whack the ground, let's stand up on your tiptoes, which is the compensation you were making. Okay. If we can get your arms hanging down, going through that sequence, as we said, start with the feet together, so we get the arms hanging down and the club out this way. Yep. You felt though when you were doing that your hands were lower than your knees. Exactly. But we can see, and as the saying goes, what can't speak can't lie. You can see it. You can see it. Your setup now. You're in a much more efficient way. So going through that sequence, and don't be afraid to give yourself an extra second to just say, okay, right.
Yes.
Is the club down correctly? Yes. Is the shaft angle in the correct position? Yes. Is my hands on the correct position? Yes. Are my arms hanging down? Yes. Is my spine angle good? Yes. Then from there, set your feet. So you go through.
Should there be that kind of? I mean, it looks a bit strange, the head and the back.
There's a little bit of just arch in there in the back. That's just, to be honest, most people have a slight arch. Modern society have a slight curve in the back there. Now, you think of just how people sort of sit in cars, sit at desks, sit at home. Most people's postures have a little bit of roundness, okay? Right. The problem is people then try and get a straighter back by standing up, which then puts your arms higher, which defeats the object, okay? It's not for me having a straighter back, it's having a better angle in your back. What we're looking for, as I was saying to Richard there, you want your spine angle, shoulders to hips, and the shaft to be roughly 90 degrees. Right. You're not far off there, to be fair. I think for a taller person, that's okay, because obviously there'll be a little bit more height there to compensate, okay? But once you're swinging the club now, once your wrist is angled in the right way, we can now start hinging the wrist up, and you get your feet apart there now. We can start getting this club to work up, he says when it swings back. He froze. There he comes. There we go. So we can start hinging a little bit inside, but if we look at here now, we've got the shaft now working up middle part of the back. So you look where your hands are there now.
And yet I would have thought I was working really hard.
Exactly. But you look at the difference there. That shaft is on that angle, that shaft is on that angle. And that's why I say you can't hinge your wrist quick enough, because where you think you're hinging your wrist straight away, you're hinging them here somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so that first bit now is still a little bit inside, but at least you're getting the hinge up now. So the top of the batsman and getting the club in a better position.
That doesn't look a bad position.
That's a great position. That's a great position now. Yeah, really good. Yeah. So from here now we can unwind that lower half, as we said. You haven't got to come over the top, which you can see. You're not.
My head, I do.
There's a little bit of a dip, slightly.
Huge dip,
I think with that dip, for me, though, I wouldn't say that is necessarily a fault to you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. McIlroy dips, Tiger Woods. There's a lot of good golfers.
I am like them. A lot of in a way.
Exactly.
I told you.
Exactly. There's a lot of movements there that people say, oh, and this is why I think the problem with technology nowadays, people can record their phone, swings on phones or camera, and there's so much information out there. When you see something that you think is wrong, you'll try and change it. Now, if you think about your shots, the majority of your shots, you're sort of topping, aren't you? Or catching the bottom part of the club or towing it a little bit. So if you stop that dip, you're going to get further from the golf ball. So you miss the ball. So for me, it's not necessarily an issue. I think tall people sometimes like that sort of drive into the ball. It just gets you lower to the golf ball. It gives you a chance to get down and get you in a good position, striking the ball there. Again, good strike in this case. We can see the ball now. If I get this to run there, you can see the ball now sailing down the range there towards your target. And you're finishing now, as we said, with the weight onto that left heel.
That's a better finish.
Really good finish.
Yes, I'm happy with that finish.
Really good finish, okay? Because now you're able to rotate the body effectively, because you're not trying to hit the ground too hard, because you're not going to be lunging that club over the top. So by getting the better setup, as I was saying to Richard, the better setup encourages a better backswing. A better backswing encourages a better downswing. You kind of react to what you're seeing. If I sort of said stand over there and I threw the ball over that way, you would move that way to get the ball. Okay, if I threw the ball that way, you'd move that. So you react to where the ball is, okay? You react to where the swing of the club's going. So by better setup, better backswing, things sort of just go into sequence and so on and work into place. So that's going to give it a chance. But I wouldn't worry about the dip. A little bit of dip in the down is fine. Because you're not somebody who's coming up and down. You're just starting here now, and then you're driving it in the golf ball.
I used to go up on the backswing.
You used to go a lot, but the reason why you went up was because you had to get the club up somewhere, because the club was going round your waist. Well, I can't keep going round there. Let's get the club up. So up you went, and the way you got the club to go up was rather than the hinge of the wrist
to achieve something.
Exactly, but that's why I'm saying a lot of people, the arms for me take the club away, the wrist hinge it up, and the body creates the backswing. But so many golfers sort of hinge their wrist straight away, then they lift their arms up and don't turn. That's usually they get the 3 movements but with the wrong body part.
But I think the majority of golfers never look at it on video because they're scared to look.
Some people are, yeah.
I said I don't want to see it on our video because I can't interpret what
Precisely.
I see.
Yes.
I mean,
It's
famous
no good.
story about Jim Furyk. Jim Furyk thought his swing was natural.
Yeah.
It was all normal. He looked at his swing in the fern. Luckily, his dad was his coach, and his dad
Yeah.
filmed his swing like he was like 19, 20 years and years ago. Obviously, he's like 50 now. And showed him his swing, and Jim Furyk was horrified. He said, I got to change it. And his dad said, why the hell are you changing a move that works?
Yeah.
And luckily, his dad said, don't change it. And now he's Hall of Fame golf, he's won majors and stuff, he's won millions of dollars, and he's only got to shoot 58 in a tournament. So, would you like his swing? Most guys would go, oh no, horrible. Do you want his bank balance?
Martin Keimer went to another coach, tried to change his swing.
For some reason, tried to draw the ball
ended up
and couldn't play golf for 2 years. And then came back with his old coach and won the US Open by 10 shots. So
Yeah.
go with what works. This is why I say I think sometimes, especially in group environment lessons or pairs and stuff, people often hear what I'm saying to the other person, try it themselves. Well, we're all different. So what works for yourself won't work on necessarily be the right
Well,
move
and
either.
I know that when you're telling us what you're trying to do is to exaggerate the remedial action.
Exactly.
Because we all know that we'll be out here.
Exactly.
And you're trying to get us into here.
Exactly. So we're just trying to sort of fine tune. Like I say,
work.
your swing is what it is, Richard's swing is what it is, and the other guys you play golf with swings are what they are.
Yes.
We're not going to change visually how the swing's going to look. It's just tweaking things, tighten a few nuts and bolts here, get yourself in a better position. I think every lesson I've ever given has always involved some change of setup, because most people stand the ball slightly incorrect to their swing, and therefore have to make compensations to adjust to that.
Yeah.
If you borrowed Richard's car for a day and said, right, you drive his car now and I'll drive your car, you'd feel like this and he'd feel like that. If you had to drive from here to North Wales, you get there and you'd both be in agony.
In the same seat position.
Exactly, yeah. If I borrowed your car and swapped round, I'd be sort of up there and you'd be then. So you get yourself set for the task at hand.
I'd be all right in your car.
Just a minute, fine, yeah, exactly. Okay, does that make sense then, yeah?
Yeah, perfect.
Good man.